being recorded.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Warren, local leader of the Hong Kong Founders Institute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we are here today to talk about automation and creating what we would call AI agents. And our AI agent today is one of what we call a campaign scheduler. What that means is, just as the promotional materials talked about, one click and you can schedule it all. It's not that easy. So, but what we'll be going through is how I created mine and how you can create yours too. And we will be using tools like Claude, Sonnet 4.5, and I'm going to use it on Poe because here in Hong Kong, we are limited to how much, our access to GPT, Claude, and Gemini, unless we have a VPN. But if you have Poe, you can get a hold of it. So that's why I'm going to demonstrate on Poe today. I'm also going to look at N8N. Right? Those of you who have heard about some of these workflow tools, that's what we're looking at today. So N8N is the one that I've chosen simply because it's the most straightforward. And you can get a free account for up to 200 workflows a month. And I'll explain what all that is a little bit later. But the main thing is, I'm loving the turnout tonight because we had low signups, and yet we have a fairly good bunch. So, and a little housekeeping. One, if you have questions, ask. Okay? Two, if you have, we have real-time notes, fireflies. So, if you want to get the recording, because right now I'm recording on with Fathom, but I will also start recording with on the cloud. Yeah, there we go. So we're also recording for Zoom, and the reason we do it for both is just in case. I have had times where I've been recording one and it failed. I recorded another. So just in case, that's what we want to do. So again, I'm Dr. Warren. I'm a local leader at Founders Institute. My doctorate is in education. And so and I love this stuff. My master's in public speaking. So I love pitching. And that's how I somehow got roped in, or I roped myself into this. And so tonight, a little bit about the agenda is I'm going to introduce Hong Kong Founders Institute and our promotional sponsor tonight, Palantir, and as well as I'll give you more information about myself. Then we will go into the process of creating your campaign. Now, what do we mean by campaign? Well, I'll tell you more about it later, but in a nutshell, a campaign is measurable sales at a consistent cadence throughout your year. That's why we make it a campaign. And the reason for that is to make sure that when you are, let's see, when you are doing, or when you are taking, selling as a startup, often we think we just need to go out and get sales and sales and sales. But that's not what it is. You want to be able to create a start and a stop at regular intervals throughout your year. And I'm going to call them events because that's what I would call them. But often, in my sales coaching, we would call them just a sales target. So that's what we'll call them. You call them what you want. and we will get going on that right now. So let's jump into first Hong Kong Founders Institute. Oh, I need to share screen. I'm going to share my screen. So we will jump into, let's see, Hong Kong Founders Institute. And there we go. If at any point in time you guys can't hear me, send out a message, raise your hand, and I will try to get to you. But the main thing is we are creating this group of workshops for founders because we're recruiting. Well, we want to get you into the Founders Institute here in Hong Kong. There are something like 50 accelerators in Hong Kong, and they are all, we'll teach you how to pitch, right? And what we do is we teach you how to get funding. Okay? That's why you join Founders Institute. If you're going to start a tutor center in Wan Chai, you don't need us. Okay? We are here to help you get funding. All right. So there you go. You can see my screen, hopefully. And I'll make it quick so we can get to the good stuff. But so Founders Institute, we look at 3 market forces. And whenever you're pitching, you want to have at least 3 market forces. That really creates what we call that perfect market storm. And in that, the need of why me, why now? So there's massive startups around the world. Funding is tighter on average than it's ever been. A lot of this funding is going to these AI startups in Silicon Valley, and I'm a mentor for Founders Institute, so I help those Silicon Valley startups, and they're incredible because there's so much money there that they have a better chance. But I found that around the world, there's hunger, and there's a big difference because if you go to an investor and you're hungry and you're determined, that's going to get more than just a good idea. Okay. And then the third is FI. We have created an AI platform for you. See, the problem is every day about 137,000 startups are launched. That's every single day of the year. Well, less than 5% of them are any good. Why? Well, an idea is what a founder has, but how do they build a strong business to get growth funding? That's what we do. That's the Founders Institute. And we've got 66,000 alumni. Actually, I think that's more like 7,000. 33,000 mentors, 100 plus countries. So it's a global institution, and you've got global resources. That's the key. That's a value that you can't get from something like Science Park. Science Park is going to help you, and they love our graduates. By the way, the Science Park, Cyberport. If you finish, and the Founders Institute is not easy, but if you finish, you've got a really good chance of getting into Cyberport or Science Park and getting into their. Most of the time, our graduates go into not their ideation, but their traction. Okay. Now, what do? Find good people. We give them a devoted process and people to work with, and that structured process helps them prepare for funding. Right? We're not just preparing you to be a good company, but we're preparing you for funding. And a good company is going to get funding anyway. So some of our advantage, big startups, mentors, chapters all around the world. But another thing is we're recruiting for the core program. And this is 4 months long. And we've got 3 tracks: ideation, validation, and traction. But the rest of these are free. Once you finish the core program, you are an alumni. You qualify for Founders Lab, the Investors Labs, Funding Labs, Product Market Fit Labs. All of these are free once you have finished. That and the mentor network is still yours. So about us, Hong Kong, I'm going fast. I apologize because I really want to get to the good stuff. So if I go too fast, I will tell you how to get a hold of me. In fact, I should probably do that right now. Here, yeah. So I'm going to pop my info into the chat so you guys can all get it. And connect with me on WhatsApp or LinkedIn. I think on my WhatsApp it's in there. Yeah, well, you can, there's the WhatsApp link, my WhatsApp. The WhatsApp link is created for this AI group. So we regularly, well, I'll try to regularly exchange information and tips and tricks. And I'm usually the one doing it, but that's the way it goes. But we have 4 of these verticals: Web3, health tech, fintech, and AI. My latest startup is a combination of AI and Web3. That's one thing about me. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm always paid the bills. But until I joined Founders Institute, I really was alone, and I didn't realize that there was so much more out there. And one of the best things is that I learned that there's networking and getting mentors is the way to excel. What do we mean by that? Is before I joined Founders Institute, if I had a problem as a founder, I had a problem. But once I was in Founders Institute, I realized that if I have a problem, go find a mentor. And because part of the curriculum for the Founders Institute is to meet with mentors on a regular basis. And I'm one of them that you would meet with. So that's what you're required to do that. And that makes all the difference in the world, because now whenever I find a problem, I just say, hey, who do I know who can help me with this? And I help people all the time. And so here's John, Francois, Laurent, and I. And like I said, my latest startup is a combination of AI and Web3. We're taking your learning management system that is teaching AI, putting it into Telegram in a mini app, so you can earn crypto as you learn AI. Kind of a fun little thing. And this is how you can get to know more. You can take a picture of this, or I also put it in this info in the chat, so you can get it there too. So either way, that's how you can get it. Okay, so that's it for Founders Institute. Next is our promotional sponsor, Palantir. And if those of you who need extra support, let me know. I can connect you with Palantir. They're a global company. They started in Hong Kong, but yet they have UK and USA offices, and they're in Silicon Valley too. So workflows are killing us. They're eating millions, and for startups, we want to be fast and agile. And one of their products is the vibe coding, and the rest is agentic workflow. Let me make sure nobody's waiting in the okay. I'm trying to keep track of the comments to make sure nobody's in the waiting room. So one of them is the agentic workflow. They do a lot of agentic work, and this is how they work together with their clients. And they have, a framework for AI that and I can't wait to, introduce you to Sakib, as he was one of my first, I shouldn't say my first, one of my pitch clients. So I also coach. Like I said, my master's degree is in public speaking. So I pitched Sakib, the CEO, and within 3 months, he got 3 times the funding that he was looking for. He was asking for 1 million, and he got 3 million US dollars in funding. So that's a nice problem to have. But this is his company, and they are building an operating system for finance. And they have this, what they call a compounding flywheel. They have audit, monthly retainers, training boot camps, and these are incredible, because if you've ever watched Shakib from Palantir pitch, he's amazing. And I can't say that that's all my fault. I can't, because he's a really good student to start with. But that kind of practice, getting professional help, or going to some place like Founders Institute, that is what makes the best. And then why others can't copy them? Well, they have proprietary AI native, and they're sticky. And most important, they're good people. So the vision is to be a $1 billion operating system. And so that's Palantir. If you have any questions, shoot me or join that WhatsApp group and in the chat. I've pasted all that stuff in there so you can go ahead and join it. All right, now to the good stuff. Thank you for, oh, there's another participant joining. Okay. And I should probably put this in there and paste again. So because we have a new participant joining, I'll put that in there. I'm not just spamming you guys. No, don't call me that. But what I am doing is making sure that everybody gets the info. Okay, let's go with the workshop. Now, campaign planning. And I'm going to ask you to not just sit there. I'm going to ask you to think about these things, even write them down. Get yourself a pen or paper. I mean, yes, I still use this, by the way. Okay? You call me old fashioned, but I do. Most of the time I do voice to text now, but I still write things down when that voice to text isn't available. And right now, because Zoom has my microphone locked, there's no way I can't do voice to text. But I am recording it. Okay, we are recording on Fathom. And if you want this recording, well, just sign up for it or join the WhatsApp group. Either way, there's a form in the chat. And because this is the start of a relationship, whether it's a relationship where we work together in the future or we just support one another here and now, you get some good ideas. And I learned about you. I can tell you about those. Oh, somebody's iPhone's coming in. All right, so sorry about that, those interruptions. So first of all, who's your market? What is your niche? Define that, because then it's easier to do this. And this is digital marketing 101. But why do we keep coming back to it? Because it works. You find who you want, and think about as your customer, who was like your favorite customer that you'll ever have, right? Who would you love to have as a customer? That is who you want. They want to work with you. You want to work with them, and they have money. Excuse me. That's the triad there. You like to work with them, they want to work with you, and they have money. If they don't have money, then that's what we call pro bono. And that's okay. So then once you know who they are, think about what content they want and what are different profiles of those, what core philosophy or belief. And by the way, this core philosophy and belief idea, that's going to sell a lot more than your product or your service. Think about it. Apple, in their advertisements, they don't show computers. Their core philosophy is here's to the crazy ones, right? The loners, the misfits. That's what sells. And you can talk about that all day long and people will love it. But if you talk about buy my computer, buy my computer, buy my computer, they're not going to like it at all. And another thing that you can sell, and you really need to, is selling that relationship. Just like I mentioned a couple times already, love to have you here. Can't wait to get to know you in the future. Love to keep working with you. That's what sells. And that's going to keep those relationships going in the future. And when you are pitching to an investor, that's that is your key criteria. And yes, you want an investor that's got money. That's kind of important. You've got an investor that has an ecosystem. You want an investor that has a group of other investors that they can pull together to help fund your deal. But if you don't have that relationship with them, it's not going to get any of those other parts. I'm kind of serious on that one. All right, so your schedule for becoming oversubscribed. Yeah, the oversubscribed is a book that I really truly love, because it's not just about getting customers, but it's about making your offering wanted. Okay? Pitching to an investor instead of just saying, "Oh, we have a great idea. We want your money. We have a great idea. We know it's a good idea. We're determined to get the best deal and the best investors." Totally different message, and that's what you're looking for. So think about, what can we do that's remarkable? What do we do that's different and better than anyone else? That's what you want to do. And what are the maximum number of clients? Because if you keep saying, "Oh, we can scale to get everyone," well, that means you're a commodity. But if you can only offer a, a limited amount of service, and you can show the marketplace and be transparent, and the market sees that you are in demand, then your prices go up. But if you can handle everyone, then your prices are going down. Now, you may be able to handle everyone, and don't get me wrong, but if the market sees that you can, they see you're a commodity, then you will get paid as a commodity. And so we want oversubscribed. What's your number? How many people? Is it 27 consulting, or 10 consulting days, 50 seats in an auditorium, 20 new clients this year, or 200 new clients this year? But what can you realistically, very, very easily handle? Then draw a line in the sand. Then you can, and that's where this whole theme, yes, English is my first language, this whole campaign theme comes from, is once you've got a transformative, what can you help them? How can you make it so much better for them? Because this is what your idea is. You have a startup, you have this new idea. That's your job, is to communicate that. And often I see founders that are just, "Oh yeah, we got this new idea, and well, it's kind of like this, and it does that, and well, we're excited about it." And it's like, okay, why don't you show me the excitement? It does X, Y, Z. It's the best at helping people learn better, faster, easier. It's going to get you your data quicker, more securely, and more easily. Right? 3 things at once. Make it count. Which really brings us to our next thing, the zero friction sales system. This is an example, and I was running some on Poe right before you guys came in. So I said, okay, what are 3 words that summarize the value and urgency of my campaign for AI courses? Okay. And because I'm creating, like I said, the Telegram mini app with AI, and we're giving crypto and crypto. So, future. So I had, and this is with Claude, by the way. Claude is my latest favorite because it's very human for me. Right? And everybody has theirs. And I never thought I'd say that, but over the last few months, I've been using it a lot. You can see, right? So lead, don't follow, AI Advantage today. So here, future proof your startup. That's my new one. Okay. So that is future proof your startup. That's going to be mine, or I may try and change it. AI proof your startup. But that's a 3-word campaign. And you notice that 3 words is very popular for campaigns. Or, like Nike, just do it. Doing is both an action and a benefit. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Loving is both an action and a benefit. The fewer words you can get, the better. Because, did Nike go to their ad agency and say, "Give us a 3-word slogan that is easy enough for the first grade level"? No, but that's what they have, and that's where the power is. So keep it simple, keep it short. And what is it? Watson and Crick, the guys who figured out or discovered the double helix DNA structure of life. And when they got the Nobel Prize for it, you can read that whole description in 5 minutes. The most important discovery of the 20th century can be pitched in 5 minutes. If you're taking longer than 5 minutes, take out something or anything or a lot of things, because shorter, faster, and to the point is what helps investors remember, and customers too, by the way. Okay. And when I worked with a startup called PeopleSoft. Yes, I'm that old. And back then it was in Pleasanton, okay, and um, Pleasanton, Walnut Creek, California, Silicon Valley. And Dave Duffield, the starter of PeopleSoft, talked like that. Very short, very powerful sentences. And so it was incredible to listen to. Anyway, back to timeline. So now we have a timeline. We are going to create a three-way, campaign timeline. And why am I encouraging you to do all this? Well, it's not just because it works, but because it's more easy to plan. Often startup founders say, I'm just going to go get business. I'm just going to go get customers. Well, either you're every day, all day going to get customers, which that means you're not running the business, or it's go get customers, then run the business, go get customers and run the business. But if you can make it so you have a calendar, and I'll show you mine here in a minute. Yes, okay, right. So I have this calendar up and running. Okay. Now we have oversubscribed. We have weekly events. So you want to have some kind of goal every week. Like I said, when I was doing sales coaching and in sales in San Francisco, we had our weekly goal. Well, a weekly goal is not that inspiring, but we have a campaign for this week, and this is what I'm looking forward to. And for me, I like the idea of filling a room, filling a workshop, and that is what, pardon me. Oh, there we go. So now I can show you my schedule here in a minute. Okay. All right. So here is my campaign. I created this campaign this afternoon. One click. Wow, I filled in a form, but then clicked on one click. So week 1, Wednesday. Let's see that very well. Change the color. Let's go with that so it matches. Right? There's my Wednesday. Every week I have this workshop or another workshop. My goal is to get 10 people. Okay. We're a little short today, but that happens. So next week I need to get 15. And that's how that works. So that's the weekly. Then we've got quarterly events where you want to get some of your weekly into your quarterly. So in the quarterly event, when I was in sales, we had a quarterly event for awards. So it could be a quarterly awards event, but we found that it was better, more effective in sales to get people into a quarterly event that were those quarterly events. They were using, you get your customers in there and it's better. The next is your annual big event. Okay, wow, you're going to have a big event and make this your award ceremony. But when I was working with a seminar company, we did a big event for the seminar leaders, speakers. Also, we did it for the student or for customers. So the customers would come, we would come. Now we're building those relationships. And now we get to the N8N workflow. So I'm going to show you my workflow that we've created for this. Okay, back to the canvas here. Okay. So if any of you have ever seen an end workflow, this is what it looks like. It's got teach out. I'm going to spam you again. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now that Casey's coming in. Okay. So I reposted that and I apologize. But what this does is this workflow, I have a form and I'll show it to you in a minute. What it does is it gathers information for me about the beginning of my season. Then it will generate all the campaign events. Then it will write them in a Google Sheet, which is cool. Then it also puts them into my calendar. Ooh, ah. Then every week on Monday morning, it will send me an update. And for me, as a startup founder, this is golden because as an update every week, it tells me and it reminds me where I need to be, but am I on track? Am I not on track? Right? And then how many people signed up for the next course? How many people are signing up for the quarterly event? And so these are my metrics, and I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, I have that. Okay. So there we go. All right. So now we have the read campaign. Oh, all right. So where are they? And then it will read the campaign data that is manually or automatically connected to the spreadsheet. I'll show you the spreadsheet in a sec. Then it will calculate my performance, summarize it, and then send me a message on my iPhone on Monday at 9 a.m. Right? And the one I've created for you is just an example, but and because I don't want to show you my customer and client data, I want to respect my clients. But so the first thing I did was I set this up. I went into Claude and gave it a prompt saying I want to set up a campaign schedule or an 8N workflow that schedules campaigns with weekly, monthly, and one annually. So 40 per week. Let me show you. Okay, we go. So we would create a weekly event. So every week we have an event, and that leads up to the quarterly event. So I try to get one client out of each one of these for my own courses. And actually, I do a lot better job getting clients or I should say clients, cohort members for Founders Institute in these events, because like I said, I have one next week too. So the weekly events, right? And then we have of these weekly events, then we have a quarterly event. That's where we get face-to-face. And this is something that Founders Institute has really encouraged us to do. We get people like you who come to one of these events, you get to know us. Then you say, well, how can we learn more? And so then we get you to a face-to-face quarterly. So we want to create our first face-to-face in January. And then I'll show you the calendar here in a minute. And because these 2 dates that were automatically generated by my campaign scheduler, where are we? Those 2 aren't good dates, but I can show you how we can change them here in a minute. But the main thing is each week I know I need to get 10 people. Each quarter I know I need to get 20 people. And I have days remaining till the first week is due. And that's the first week is the 5th of November. So now I know I need to get that many. So then we have a system to set up enrolled by, and that's the Monday. This is set up every week at the beginning of the week on Monday at 9 a.m. and it will send off a trigger, and that will send this. There we go. Oh, I'll have to change screens, so I'll show you that in a little bit. But now we set up, so when someone enrolls, it automatically changes this number. When they actually walk through the door or when you guys show up, that actually clicks this number. Then how many of them want to go to the quarter event? And for Founders Institute, who wants to sign up for the core program, which is in Jan? And then I know by my weekly, am I ahead or am I behind? So if I haven't gotten enough people to say this event, I need to get more. I need to work on that, but I can tell, and my weekly report will tell me that too. Love that. Anyway, so this is campaign schedule. Let me show you. So here's November. We have our second week, 4, 5, 6, 7. December is 8. This is Christmas Eve. There are 2 ways to handle this. One is to just move it over here. Okay. I go in there, and I can change calendar settings and move it to a Monday. Okay. But it actually knows that I'm already doing something on Monday, so it's not letting me do that. But I just change that and go to Monday. So, wow, now I can do it. Actually, this is also in my business calendar. So I just changed it to Monday because the Christmas Eve is not a good day to have an event. So the same thing with New Year's Eve. Just move it over 3 days. But also, when I schedule these things, I schedule them right up to the 10 weeks prior to this event. And this, ninth and the weeks 9 and 8 and 9. Okay, these are not good weeks, so I can either move them back because I have a large space here in January, and I moved them back, and so I'm ready to go. The value of this is that I have my whole year, and then here's my quarterly event. Come see us on January, where we have a workshop and events and things going on for that whole day. So we make it an event. I don't know if it's going to go for 7 hours, but depending on the venue we get. Now I have a couple weeks off in January, and then February we're back up and running. And again, we have the Chinese New Year, and so I would move the dates either forward or backward for Chinese New Year. Yeah, all the days. Yeah, so here's Lunar New Year. So I would either move it to Monday, move Friday, or even maybe move it the week before. But you can do that. The key is you're doing it at the beginning of the year. You're doing it 16 weeks, 13 weeks ago. So now you can plan for it. And it's that measured growth that founders or investors look for. They want to make sure that you are on a consistent trajectory. They don't want to say, oh, yeah, we got a big burst in December. Like if you ever worked in an insurance company, sold insurance for a while, December was our money-making month. We pretty much worked all in because we did ABC, actual, benefits and long-term disability and life insurance for companies. They all bought in December for the following year. So we pretty much got set up for December throughout the rest of the year. But that's not really happy for an investor. So the same thing with Easter. Was this right after Easter? Maybe a good day, maybe not. The main thing is I've got a few weeks after April to go through. And then we start again in May. So we have the Q3. So now every week is set up and we can adjust for them by and SAR day, that's not going to be happy. And then here is our Q3. We go through a couple more weeks and get to our annual tentpole event. I didn't name it that, but I like it. Okay, it's our um, actually Claude gave me that name. And the main thing is, you see, I've got this all set up because I went in here and I'll show you the form here. Okay, and so I'm going to. So we have a test form in N8N. You can test. I go production, and then this is the production form. Copy that, right? Paste it in here. Okay. Oh, and it's looking for this to say execute. And apologies because I'm bouncing around. So here I put in the campaign name, those 3 words, the dates, and event day. And it takes me forever to do this because I'm not like those YouTubers that can type and talk at the same time. So you guys would be bored. But I put all those event days in there, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, put the dates in there, and it actually automatically says, I'm going to give you 10 weeks before your quarterly events. And then, boom, third quarter, and then make weekly campaign goals. So you've got this set up at the beginning of the year. The first time I showed an investor my calendar, they were like, wow, this is incredible. Because that showed them that actually I had my act together, and that they couldn't believe it because they could see where I was going to be throughout the year. And I was pretty excited about it too. The main thing is I could get there and I could schedule it ahead of time. So back to N8N. So that's the form, and then here is code. What we're doing with code? Well, that's where I put Claude to work. Said, can you create the code to generate the campaign events? And then it puts them into the spreadsheet, which you saw, and also puts them into my calendar all at once in seconds, right? It's boom, there it goes. And yeah, it takes a little adjusting for the public holidays, which I could put in there too. But when I put in public holidays, I'm running into problems with public holidays in the U.S., which it's a big market of mine. I'm running into public holidays here in Hong Kong, right? So I prefer to move them around myself. And yes, it takes a whole 10 minutes. Ooh, wow. Whereas this whole calendaring process used to take a full day, not all at once, but it's a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And after my first week, the last week in October was a tough one because I was doing that and wasting all that time. Now it's done in moments. All right. So then let's go back to our canvas here. So this is the saving to sheets. Now, as I describe this, it's not that easy. Okay. I hate those YouTubers that say, oh, just do this and just do this and it's easy. Well, it's easy for them, but is it easy for them to teach? Because they show you, and sometimes they make a mistake to make it look like they're trying to teach you, but you see all these workflows we've got. So Telegram partner workflow, the scheduling workflow, partnership agreement workflow. And the reason that we do so many of these to help me build this is because each one of those chats gets tired. What do I mean? Well, if you're in a chat for a while, it starts to make mistakes, it starts doing some crazy stuff. What it is it's getting tired because it's still processing all of the stuff all the way back to the beginning. Sometimes it's just better to take your latest good output, right? And in this case, it's just a JSON file, right? that I can download. This one's pretty good, but I still need to adjust because my last output, it was giving me weekly events at 7 to 8:30, but then the weekend events were still at 7 to 8:30. And so when I tried to change it, it didn't like it. It was just changing that, and everything else was getting messed up. So then I just took that output and put it into a new chat. And that's your moneymaker today. If there's only one thing you remember today, once it gets tired, put it into a new chat. There you go. Okay, that's it. Now, then back to this. So every hour or every Monday, it sends me a report. And the next session that we have for Founders Institute, we're going to look at marketing. So we set up an automated marketing system that will go out and share some of the marketing assets that you have. So we will look at creating marketing assets with an agent, and using an agent to help you create your marketing assets. That's a teaser for the next one, like in a couple weeks. But again, we do it to help founders and startups, and I'm doing it to make sure that I'm not left behind with AI. So now the next one, it will read the campaign data, and get that campaign data, then it will again go through this code. And yes, Claude helped me create the code, and it will look at the progress, past events, next events, and as we're going through. Really cool for me. Then it gets ready to put it, where is it going to put it in my report, and then it sends it to me in Telegram. Now, you can use WhatsApp, but you need to use a business account. They charge a lot for a business account. Or you can use Telegram. It's free. Or it's like $13 US for a whole year for the pro account. It's just incredible. Okay. And what you do and I'll show you here in a minute with how to set up an agent. And so, okay, there we go. Okay. And boom, there you go. So that's the N8N, the automation. We're almost at pumpkin time here. We can usually finish at 8. This one, location. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to increase the privacy. There we go. So I'm going to show you what the agent looks like, because I need to stop sharing. Thank you for being patient, and thank you guys for staying with me. Okay. So this is the report that it sends. The weekly report every Monday sends me. And again, I'm just using a sample report here because the one I don't want to divulge my customer info. And I just set this on up today. 45 total events, past events, coming, and data completeness is 0 because I just set it up. So overall attendance, my goal is to have 530 people attending my events, because from those events, I plan to get 5%. Fair enough. But when I get those 5%, that gives me enough clients in my education, LMS, to easily pay for the year. Once we have proven we've proven our MVP and make the mini app scalable, then obviously we're going to go for more. But we will still have our campaigns, but then the focus will change. It won't be just for getting customers, but it will be for providers, people who are creating content for my learning platform. It will be for those users who invite their friends. And because we said it's a gaming platform, so if you give referrals, you can also get points and things like the highest crypto, things like that. We have those events for those people. And but here, overall attendance. Then we have the annual events, progress, and we're rolling up to them. And here, it's going to be one of one in August, but we want 50 people, and it will tell me every Monday how many people are enrolled. Then quarterly events, every quarter, I know how many people are enrolled before the event starts. So that means if it's Q2 and in March, I don't have many enrolled, I know to start focusing on that a little bit more to get those people enrolled to help them get ready. And then obviously the weekly events where like we do for Founders Institute here, we get you, to come and see the Founders Institute, and at least we've connected with you. So we will follow up later. Don't worry. Actually, I don't have your information. If you want to follow up with me, you have any questions, then you can join me here at the Founders and just use those links, get in that WhatsApp group that we put into the chat room so that you can follow up, because that's where that's how you can ask questions and get there. But this is a report that comes to me every Monday. Okay. And there we go. But the way you create a bot is with BotFather. This is BotFather, and it is basically it's a mini app. But you come in there and you say, I want to create a bot. So this is how it creates a bot. And once you've created a bot, then you can create a mini app. And that's what these are. And this is my learning management system that is crypto and learning AI all at once, because we call it immersive. It's immersive because you're experiential and you're immersive. And then you can add a GIF or whatever you want to it. I should say that. Then I have connected to it for this is BotFather. So this is one last one. So this, maybe I can see that. This is, you see, I don't know if you guys can see that because it's into a new screen. And yeah, I don't know if you see it. But that's my idea. Anyway, this is not the topic of the course or the session tonight, but this is an agent. It now runs, and I have it inactive because I'm the only one using it. If you guys are interested, I can make a copy for you, but you just send me a WhatsApp or join the WhatsApp group, or send me an email because I've put it into the chat. Okay, so that's it for this. We only have a few minutes left till 8 o'clock. And one thing I did want to show you is something that I created. Meeting group chat. Okay, so is this. This is another agent that I built because I'm lazy, right? I know I should be checking my my SEO and auditing my SEO on a regular basis. I know I should, but do I? I get to it. So what I did is I created this app that will basically here. Make a copy. Wait, no. I will create this. So here's a copy, and you guys can try it. Put it into the meeting group chat. All right. And what it does is it will do a technical audit and a content audit of your website. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And then, let's see if I can, then what you have is this really cool audit. Oh, you guys supposed to tell me I'm supposed to be sharing. Okay. So It's a technical audit and a content audit. It puts them all back together, and then it sends you an email. But all you do is you put in your URL, landing page URL, and your email. And in a few minutes, actually about a minute, it gives you some feedback that like this. This is one page technical audit, gives you, critical issues, quick wins, opportunities for improvement, um, SEO content, and this is my coaching website. So it's been a while since I really looked at it because I only use it for teaching coaching. And readability, recommendations, all within a minute. And I just put that link into the chat so you guys can use it. But this is the world now. If you're not doing these things, if you're not using these kind of tools for quick, easy um, automations, you're spending a lot of time. I give this to my coaching clients, and because they're like, oh, I got to do an SEO audit. I say, okay, here's a link, 1 minute, and boom, you're done. Yes, you could say, what's the WordPress SEO guys? You can pay for them or $30 a year, which is not much. It's still pretty good, but every year, right? Now you are doing it yourself. And N8N, this platform is free for 200 executions. I have a paid version because I'm running like last 7 days, 329. And so I haven't been doing much. So failed execution, I love that, down 100%. But I use it a lot. 7 days, 329, because I'm marketing and getting users through using it. So that's why it's there. It's only, again, I haven't made it active because I'm the only one using it. I will go into the form and like I said, here's the form. Just copy and paste it. Boom. There's the form, and it says figures are ready, so execute it. I don't know if you guys can see this form. I think Zoom's got me um, locked down on it. Give it to me. Yes, there it is. So we've got the campaign name. Remember, 3 words, your dates, your events, and everything there at the beginning of the year. So now we can plan accordingly. Make sure we get all of the people or all of the sales we need on an ongoing, regular basis. This is huge. So that pretty much wraps it up for me. Again, in next week or in 2 weeks, next week I'll be doing a workshop for teachers here in Hong Kong. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a WhatsApp because you've joined the group, or you just shoot me a WhatsApp and DM me. And that one's going to be on teacher tools, so it may or may not be relevant. But the main thing is the next workshop for the Founders Institute is going to look at marketing and creating marketing materials. A few months ago, we did a workshop that was focusing on creating a automated outreach and follow-up system. So we can go ahead and watch those. When you sign up for there's a Google form in the chat. When you fill that out, it will give you a link so you can get all the past videos. Because we record all these videos and we give them to you, and we'll paste them into the a doc in that directory. You get the past videos, the directory, and we're also putting these JSON files, because this is basically a JSON file, right? And all it is just a visualized JSON file. Pretty clever, huh? But the next week, or in 2 weeks, we will be creating a process where you can automate development of the most key assets you need to promote your company. You need those brochures, whether they're digital or in the hand. You need to have that ongoing marketing content. Well, how do you create that? Where do you get it? And what can you do to keep it fresh, but also make it evergreen? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks. So with that, I thank you all for sticking with me, and we will, I can't wait to see you at the next one, but we will see you at the next one. I'll stop sharing. So send me a message, or reach out. Again, you have all my info, and join the WhatsApp group, because that's where we keep you informed. Again, I reposted those there in the meeting chat. So everyone, thank you very much. Goodbye and good luck, and we will see you at the next.